in our district, the lesson plans are already made for the teachers by the district. There are people there who are assigned to do it. They do it every summer. So the teachers are just going to have to use that and make some modifications if they want to. In high school, especially with the class that I was teaching, it was an elective. Physics is an elective, so there's no state exam for that. We are not required to do any lesson planning. If it's optional, obviously we choose not to do it, right? But if you're teaching core classes like biology, there's a state exam for it. Algebra, US history, ELA, that's English. They have to have lesson plans, okay? But the lesson plans are already made for them. Even the presentations, they're made by somebody from the district. Okay, so like there's an English team there in the district, there's a math team in the district, so it's already made for you. Even the links that you need to any resources that you will be using for that lesson, it's already in there. So you have an access to these materials depending on the subject you're teaching. Because in my case, there were no physics materials because they didn't have any physics, classes for a while. So yeah, I was the one that, kind of developed. But it was a good thing that we're not really required to do that for physics because physics is not a, like a core class. Okay, tests. Tests, they are, computer based. You're not the one making the test, like it's already also pre-made for you. And except for the quizzes or assignments, you create that within your group, like your department. You usually have the same quiz. So like for instance, if we're all teaching grade 3, right? So someone will be assigned to make the quiz for math. So you will just, she will just share it to everybody. If you're the one assigned to do the quiz for English, then you will share that to everyone in the grade level. So that's how it works. Yeah, that's the good thing about there. There's not a lot of paperwork, to be honest. It was for me, especially when I learned how to use the tools, the online tools we have in the district. I had a lot of time in my hand, but that was after my first year, because during my first year I still have to study the tools that they have in the district. I don't know how to use them. Okay, so yeah, and also because I was the only physics teacher there, I was the lead teacher, so I was just mentoring someone. They hired a new one, so yeah. So there's no reading of grades. It will never happen there. Everything is computerized, you have the database. You just have to make sure that you're doing the lessons. What else? Your grades are accurate. You don't do a lot of paperwork there, to be honest. It's one of the things that I love, We are outsourcing substitute staff. They're not expected to teach. They just have to be in the class. Because, like I said, they cannot have a class without any adults there. So if you'll be absent tomorrow or the next week, so you go to this website and then you request for a sub, right? You request for a sub and then receive the confirmation. Okay, we have a sub for you. And then just put there the instruction on what the students will be doing. So you don't have to worry about, like that. So if you requested your sub and then email your admin that you'll be absent, and then this is the confirmation for the sub that I requested. So yeah, you can just enjoy your absence because someone will go to your class, and that's not a deduction from your salary if you still have some leave balances. Okay, so how we do have sick leave balances every year. So in our district we have just 10 for the entire year. 10. So therefore you can be absent for 10 days continuous or whatever without salary deduction, because that's your right? And the good thing about there too is you don't have to explain yourself why you will be out. Unless you're out for like 2 or more consecutive days, they actually don't care about it. You know how we feel guilty for being absent here in the Philippines? You have to explain, oh, because I'm this and that. No, they don't care, because that's your right. You can use it whenever you feel like using it. Okay? You don't have to tell us. Because, you know, during my first year there, I was like, when I was back after being absent, I talked to my coach, hey, I'm sorry I was absent yesterday because blah, blah, blah. And she said, Mr. Gawin, that's your right. You don't have to tell me why you're absent. You're fine. Just use your leave. If you feel like you can't teach today, okay, just make sure that you are covered. Being covered means that you have applied for a sub. No, students do not evaluate teacher performance, but they can, you know, email the principal if they have any complaints. Yeah, they don't evaluate. So the ones that's evaluating you, that's your assistant principal. That's they're called assessing admin. So they're the ones giving you the grades year after year. So how many class observations needs to be done? Okay, so again, the rules on that depends per state and per district. So I'll tell you about our district. If you are a new teacher, you will have to undergo 2 formal observations, okay, and then 4 informal observations. So what's the difference between the 2? An informal observation is, you know, when they would just pop into your class. You know, they would not tell you, hey, I'll be observing you today in this period. No, that's an informal observation. They would just come in and then observe you, right? So you have to have 4 of that, 2 per semester, I'm sorry. And then the formal observation is one that, you know, you choose, okay, you choose what period you will be observed, when, and what lesson, right? So, and you will talk about it too, because you will have to turn in your lesson plan before the day of observation, because the one observing your class would already want to know, you know, how you plan to do the class, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And suppose you did not like your grade. For instance, you were observed yesterday and you did not like your grade because you know you sucked. You can request for an extra observation. You can do that. Okay, Landumar, I hope I answered your question. So yeah, and then the observation that's that's also online. If your AP is, you know, working fast, we will see your grade right away.